I'm Larry Lewellen. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, starting on my big ride. I'm riding from Seattle all the way down to Mexico. I'm riding a bicycle. Well, I bought this bicycle, but the reason I'm riding a bicycle is because I want to grow biking in Columbus, Ohio on behalf of all the fundraising biking events that happen there, on behalf of making it a more competitive city. I want to make sure we raise our children more ecologically. For a whole variety of reasons, we're going to grow biking in Columbus, Ohio. Today was my first arrival in Seattle, so I flew in. I actually shipped my bike in advance to Seattle, so it'd be here. I flew in, I went to the bike shop and thought I was going to ride from the bike shop down here to the ferry. That took me 4 hours.
4 hours?
It took me 4 hours, yes. I got lost 20 times. I went the wrong way 3 times. And I'm not directionally challenged. I've got an iPhone. What more do you need? Seattle's been wonderful in many ways, except I never could find any 3 people that would give the same directions to the ferry. So I think it's a city of, variety. That's all I can say. So actually, I'm going to be couch surfing along the way, which I'm really excited about. I've never done that before. I don't know if you are familiar with couchsurfing.com, but you go on there and you have your identity verified, your address verified, then you can host people. You can also go out on trips and you can stay with people. So I have my first ever host on Bainbridge Island, a woman named Pamela Singer, who's offered to host me. She's going to meet me on the ferry on the other end. I'm very excited about that. I'm running a little late, yes. I thought it'd be quite a bit sooner that we would be there. I think she thought it'd be quite a bit sooner. I hope there's a restaurant still open so we can go out to eat. I'm starving. The first reason we decided to do this was a friend of mine and I were talking, and we both turned 60 this year, and so this was our midlife crisis. You might have read about that fellow that's turning 124 in a country in Europe. And so 60 is a midlife crisis for me now. And so what better to do than take a big bike ride? But actually we cooked it up as a way to bring attention to biking and raise funds for a small nonprofit called Consider Biking. They do all the planning of bike routes, bike paths, bike infrastructure. They advise the mayor, they advise the planning commission. They bring education resources. They plan safe routes to school for children. They're just a wonderful small nonprofit, and they survive only on donations, memberships, things like that. So I've done a couple rides for them before. This is my first big ride to bring attention to Consider Biking, Columbus, Ohio. My big ride is I was going from Canada to Mexico, and I couldn't find a place to start right on the Canadian border, so I settled for Seattle. But I'm going to start here in Seattle. I'm going to ride over to the coast. I'm going to ride right down Highway 1, 101, 1A, whatever it is that's right on the coast in Washington, Oregon, and California. I'm going to go all the way down to Imperial Beach, touch the Mexican border, come back and fly home out of San Diego. I'm planning to, it's 1,800 miles. I'm planning to do it in 20 days, 20 days of riding at 90 miles a day.
Wow.
And I'm not 60 yet. That's in October, so actually I'm 59, so I'm still young.
If you look behind you, you see the space needle.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
And of course, you've got the Ferris wheel behind you.
Beautiful skyline of Seattle. I work for the OSU Medical Center, Columbus, Ohio. I'm a vice president for care coordination and health promotion. So I hope to retire in 3 or 4 years. This is a sort of a training ride, because my next ride when I retire will be all the way across the country. And then eventually I'm going to do these rides in other countries. But right now I'm not retired. I've been at Ohio State for 26 years, so this is my I guess shooting up a lot of my saved up vacation on a big adventure. I have absolutely never ever done anything like this before. And why I'm starting it with 1,800 miles, I'm not quite sure, but I have never done anything like this before. I've never ridden this kind of bike that I'm going to ride before. I'm riding a high wheel recumbent, so there's lots of things I'm doing I haven't done before on this trip. Well, I did a lot of research. I started thinking about packing stuff on my carbon racing bike, and then I was told, well, you can't pack stuff on a carbon racing bike. It's not going to work. So I started doing research and talked to a lot of people, and they recommended this high wheel recumbent. There's several brands of them. I ride a Baqueta myself. And I've got too much stuff packed on it, but it's actually holding it all. I've got about 60 pounds of camping equipment, clothes, food, stuff to take me down to Imperial Beach. I don't feel very effective at the moment, but
I mean, in terms of your body.
But actually I feel fine. I feel wonderful. I'm on the ferry. I feel invigorated. I can see the skyline. I'm ready. I'm on the way to meet my first host. We're going to go out to eat. This is my big launch. I'm sure it's going to go so much better than those 4 hours the whole rest of the time. I am bringing attention to this by putting this out. I'm going to put out messages daily or every other day, probably at least daily, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me at CrazyRider5, CrazyRider5, or I'm on Facebook, Larry M. Llewellyn. Please follow me, CrazyRider5.
How'd you come up with Crazy Rider?
Because people said this is crazy.
Did you say?
So I went out and tried to put in Crazy Rider, and somebody else had taken it. I guess there's 4 other ones. I'm number 5. There's only 4 other Crazy Riders in the U.S. I'm not a singer, I'm afraid. I play guitar. I played clarinet growing up, but I play guitar with friends, which we do for a lot of fun. I play rhythm, and I'm a big biker. I'm a very avid biker, so I do a lot of speed biking. I host rides. Actually, my hobby is helping people find bikes. I've done hundreds of bikes where people come to me, they want to find their next bike, or they want to find a bike, they're not quite sure how to do it. I help them do it. I don't charge anything, but I do raise money for cancer for Ohio State Medical Center, and so anytime I help somebody find a bike, they make a donation to cancer. So far, I think I'm over 300 bikes that I've helped people with in the last 3 years. The reason that I'm writing for cancer is that my father died of cancer. Both my parents are gone, but my father died of cancer, and it was really tragic. And so it's one of the things I want to help make sure someday that doesn't happen to other people's father. So a lot of us ride or raise funds for people that we love and care about. In my case, it's my father. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. I hope you're going to follow me on CrazyRider5 on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Let's grow biking in Central Ohio. Let's bring attention to what I want to do. Thank you.
They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes while you weren't looking. Your dinner was disguised. You won't see it mentioned in the supermarket aisle. It's hiding in the boxes where the GMOs are piled.